You think you know the whole story? Think again. I've been governor, a Navy SEAL, a fighter. I've heard things that'll blow your mind. And now I think it's time you get the whole story. I don't vote for Democrats or Republicans. And call mine a protest vote if you like. That's the first thing we need to do, is get people to stop voting for people in these two political parties. Because we were warned by John Adams, George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson that the downfall of the United States would not occur from outside, it would occur from within. And they said it would occur when political parties took over the government. Well, that's happened right now. These Democrats and Republicans right now, they put their party before the country. That's clearly being shown, that the party comes first, not the country. But the point is, we need a true investigation of 9/11, which for once and for all, the New Yorkers will know reality. I mean, let's look at the thing that I think really hit New York as bad as the day that it happened. The fact that Governor Christie Todd Whitman was the head of the EPA. The initial report from the EPA was you still had a great danger down there with all the toxins in the air, yet it went to the White House, and the White House had her change the report. Cleared it up. Oh, remember Bush? Everybody go back to work. Everybody go back to work. Everybody go, everything's fine. Well, how many people now that work there have died from inhaling what was there? The one thing I learned was, when I first got elected, I have the highest approval ratings in Minnesota history, 73. That's pretty darn good. Well, I knew that wouldn't last. I knew that's false, because every time, here's what happens. So many people are one-issue people. Okay, the minute you have to start making some hard decisions, your popularity is going to start dropping. Because you got all these one-issue people, and if you go against them on that issue, all of a sudden, no matter, they can support you on 90%, but that's their one issue, then you lose them. I remember in the end, I dropped to 45, and the media came after me, Governor Ventura, you've dropped to 45, blah, blah, you know, with all their crap. And when they were done, I looked at them and said, what are you talking about, I've dropped? I said, 4 years ago when I won the election, I had 37%. I'm up 8 points. I said, they forget, because the media is so in tune to the two parties, they don't understand that when you got more than two, 37% wins. So I wasn't down, I was up 8 points. 37%, I'm now at 45, and in a three-person race, if you get 45%, that's a landslide. In a three-person race, 45% is a landslide. But I am not the highest rated ever of Minnesota, not elected, but of anyone. My wife, the First Lady, beat me. Her approval ratings were higher than mine and never changed. But then again, she didn't have to make any hardcore decisions either. She just had to be her beautiful self and who she is. But her ratings are the highest of any First Lady in the state of Minnesota. Our story, at the MGA, there were two independent governors when I was in, but nobody paid attention to the second one. And that was Governor Angus King of Maine. Brilliant man. In his second term, I learned from him. He'd been there, done that, you know. And so whenever at the MGA convention, the first day and all that, the second day is when they break down. All the Republican governors go to this building. All the Democratic governors go to this building. Guess what? Angus and I weren't provided a building. So what we did, we took a walk down Constitution Avenue and sat on a bench. And that was the independent governor convention. Guess what? All the media followed us. We had this mass of media that would fill the room. You know, here's Angus and I sitting on the bench on Constitution Avenue discussing the independent governor position and where we stood. And the nice thing was, it was easy to get a consensus. It was just Angus and I. So anything we came up with, it was very easy to get that. But no, it was interesting that way, how it worked. I think that if California legalizes it this fall, absolutely, you're going to see a landslide. Because when they see the $1 billion that will go into the California economy through taxes, and especially the time is now, because right now everybody's thinking money. And if California, if it's a legit election, and again with these new electronic voting machines, you don't know what you're going to get out of them. They can be fraudulent like any computer. They can be hacked. And I always tell people, would you go to an ATM that didn't give you a receipt? Well, these electronic voting machines don't give you a receipt. You have no idea when you press that button if your vote got recorded for the person you want. You have no idea. And what do you do on a recount if it's a close election? If there's no ballots, all you got is machines that give you like an adding machine. Oh, well, how do you know that? How do you know that? And see, I believe these electronic voting machines are all part of the takeover. To my knowledge, that they didn't do anything. It only troubled me was, why were they implanted there? What was their purpose? And the interesting thing was, only myself and the chief of staff are made aware of it. Not even the lieutenant governor. And then there was a change of persons. So then I had to meet the new person. And the thing is, this person doesn't serve at the governor's. He's permanent. This is a state employee who has a double and acts as a CIA, and is likewise a CIA agent at the same time. And what's interesting is, according to the mission statement, the CIA is not to be operational inside the United States. Well, I believe this is operational, isn't it?
And what was their role?
I don't know.